Don't you worry, this has got nothing to do with pregnancy, although I am pretty sure that it might be of help if you are expecting a baby. Hi, my name is Jackie. Welcome to Who I Am. Today's episode is about what to expect when you're not expecting, which means taking off the pressure in situations that you most of the time can't even influence, but it's also about expectations towards yourself and how to improve your life, how to find more ease in life, and that's actually the good thing about it, starts with you, my friend. Wait, what? If I am the issue, how is that a good thing? Well, first of all, I'm not saying you're the issue, but I simply mean that when it starts with you, you have got the power to actually change that situation and to change your level of expectation, which means to take off pressure and to find more ease in your day-to-day life. So, as I'm saying, it starts with you. Let's start with expectations towards yourself. And these could be expectations about your looks or your goals, your achievements. So, let's say your goal is to train for a half marathon and you're super motivated. You get yourself a pair of running shoes and you put on the proper clothes and you put on the proper attitude. And then you do the research. What does it take? How to prepare for the training? And you start running. And you set yourself a goal to be able to run that half marathon within 6 months' time. Now, during that training period of 6 months, what do you expect the way to look like? Do you think it's going to be easy? Do you think it's going to be particularly hard? You're going to be struggling. What's your expectation here? Well, I'm pretty sure that you might expect it to be hard, but I'm also pretty sure that you are expecting to be able to run the half marathon after those 6 months, right? Because I mean, that's your goal. So you're kind of expecting to get there in time. And now, what if after the duration of 6 months, you did the training, but honestly, it didn't really go as you planned it because, well, life was happening. And every now and then you had smaller, larger injuries, or life was just too busy to do training 4 times a week as you planned to do. And then by the end of the 6 months, you start to realize you can't do the half marathon. Oof, that's a tough one. Because I mean, you kind of made a plan and expected that to happen, didn't you? I'm assuming that can be quite disappointing in that moment, right? And you might be sitting there and thinking, okay, that's it. Didn't keep the promise to myself, can't do the half marathon. And now I kind of don't feel really motivated to try again. Great. Okay, let's apply a different perspective because in the beginning, when you set yourself that goal, and it is such a great goal to go for, trust me, how about instead of solely focusing on the goal itself to be able to run half a marathon and building up a bunch of expectations, you simply focus on the way towards that goal. Which means if you are training for the marathon, obviously the goal is important and it can really help you to stay on track. But instead of expecting the goal to happen, how does it feel for you to think, my goal is to run a half marathon within 6 months. And no matter what's going to happen, this goal is going to help me become fitter. This goal is going to help me learn so much more about me. It's going to put me towards my limits. It's maybe going to help me even go beyond my limits. And I will get better and I will work hard for it. But no matter what's going to happen, every little step that I will take towards that goal is going to be an achievement itself. How does that feel? Well, to me, it sounds like a lot less pressure and a lot more celebrating along the way, because it's not just that one goal that I'm working towards, but it's a lot of small ones. And it's a lot of small ones that, as I'm standing in front of this huge mountain and the goal is just on the top of that mountain, it seems like there are a lot of steps on the way that I find so much more achievable looking up that mountain and feeling small. And I will just take step by step towards that final goal and be able to celebrate myself for all the effort and each step that's already helped me grow, that's already helped me discover new things about myself, and that were a small achievement in itself. So, not expecting doesn't mean you're not working hard, you're not doing the best to get where you want to go. It just means to take out the pressure and to not work yourself up against the current, but to be able to get in a state of flow. Instead of focusing on what didn't happen, you can focus on learning and growing from the experiences that you make. It means you're more resilient towards setbacks or failures as well. Looking from the inside to the outside world. Shifting away from expectations will also ease your mind when it comes to other people. Because typically, when we, for example, expect certain reactions or actions from other people, we might end up disappointed simply because you can't influence other people's reactions or actions. Let's say you're telling your best friend the greatest news of what just happened to you. And of course, you're expecting them to be happy for you as well. But their reaction is a different one. Perhaps your best friend has had the same dream or the same goal as you had, and you've achieved it first. And now, before he or she can even think about feeling happiness for you, first of all, there is a disappointment for themselves as they didn't manage to get where you are now. As you raise the expectation for them to be happy for whatever has happened to you, you're kind of putting yourself in the center, which, don't get me wrong, is completely fine. But at the same time, you may find yourself with a disappointment in their reaction. Now, if you shift away from that, you may find yourself with greater empathy and understanding for their situation and will be able to help them overcome that disappointment in themselves. And I'm pretty sure their second reaction will be happiness for your achievement. Make sense? All right. Now let's look at other aspects of expectation management, as I like to call it. How about negative scenarios? As you go through new adventures or your day-to-day life, how many times do you have negative scenarios in your mind? Perhaps it's that important presentation that you've got on tomorrow. And in your mind, you go through the whole day, you go through every step that leads up towards that presentation, and your mind even goes through the presentation itself and the reactions of the people that are listening to you. And I'm pretty sure your mind will also go to negative scenarios of that day. 90% of the time, those negative scenarios will never occur. Let me tell you that. 90% of the time, those negative scenarios will never occur. Nevertheless, your mind is busy all day before that important presentation day, and it will keep your focus away from the good things, and it will get you anxiety. It will probably not have you sleep all night before the presentation. So, as your mind goes through those negative scenarios, negative expectations, it will make the time that you have to prepare for it so much harder with no legit reason at all, because it's just scenarios that we are trained to create in our minds to prepare ourselves for them to happen and to be better prepared. But then again, as I'm saying, most of the time they will never occur. So in order to find more ease in your day-to-day life or within new adventures and be able to enjoy certain moments that are happening so much more, take out those expectations, shift from that towards appreciation, towards gratitude. Appreciate things as they come and happen instead of being fixated on how they might happen or should happen. Focus on ideal or perfect scenarios or focus on negative scenarios. Just try and practice gratitude instead. Gratitude for the chance to even be able to do that presentation, the chance to reach the next level, and think about all the hundreds of times in the past that you've been rocking this presentation, and ask yourself the simple question, what if it all goes well? What if it all goes well and you've had a hell of a day before with worrying about worst case scenarios, while you could have shift your focus and shift your energy towards a positive outcome? Again, shift away from expectations. And I promise you, not only will that result in a lot of less stress and a lot of anxiety before those certain events, it will also give you such greater flexibility in case things might not go as you were hoping for. So less expectations means you can adapt more easily to unexpected situations. You're open to new opportunities. And if something different from what you anticipated arises, you're so much more likely to embrace it rather than resist it because you've had that particular path, that particular expectation in your head, and that was the only way. And now you're faced with something unexpected because you can't really prepare for every scenario, let's face it. And it's so much easier for you to keep an open mind and to keep that flexibility rather than to focus on your expectations. Yes. So let's put this together one more time. Shifting from expectations, shifting away from expectations doesn't mean you're not gonna work extremely hard for the goals that you set yourself. And it doesn't mean that you can never put yourself in the center at all. Instead, it just means creating room for positivity, for ease, for better relationships, and a state of flow. So next time you notice expectations arising, allow yourself to pause, to reflect, and to shift away from the expectation towards a positive anticipation, towards gratitude, and towards an open mind for new opportunities and new ways. I can't wait for you to try this, and I would love to hear about your experiences. Up until then, I send you all my love and light, and I'll talk to you very soon. And one more thing before you head off, if you have any questions or you just like to get in touch, feel free to send me a message and share all your thoughts on who.I.M.YCM. You can find me on Instagram, and I cannot wait to hear from you. Have a good day.